Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the little mishap with the internet, but we are back here at Kyalami and we are underway for an hour, and you just missed the start, and Red Bull Energy had a lightning start and has managed to get ahead of Javier, but Emo Guy and Motor Morgan both had moved up the pack and both in third and fourth. We had an interesting start to the race, didn't we, Benji? We got wet weather here and we are underway here at Kyalami. Emo Guy looking all over Javier right now, and Javier seems to be under a little bit of pressure in these wet conditions.
Emo, yeah, he is at the moment. Emo actually got ahead of him in that corner before, and Javier Arans just got back in front of him, but they are really fighting for it, and it looks like Emo Guy is just cut in front of him again. So they're going side by side down the main straight now.
Yeah, Emo Guy side by side and looking down the inside, but Motor Morgan isn't too far behind either, so he'll be wanting to try and make a move past if he can. But that Mercedes is so strong in the straight line and has managed to out-drag. And here comes the McLaren and Motor Morgan. He has a look, but it's not available there as they go into turn one. Guys, we've got an hour's worth of racing.
He's gone wide.
Yeah, he's got very wide. So this is going to allow Emo Guy to get a little bit closer. So Emo Guy up in the second, and we were saying how much he's getting used to these cars and used to this game. So he's really showing his potential here tonight, and Motor Morgan isn't too far behind. Mark Raver seems to be holding up the rest of the pack. GTRS looking at down the inside, and looks like he's got the move at the minute as they go side by side down the straight. Can the GTRS get around?
Mark's got the inside for the next corner. Let's see if he can hold it out and push him wide. Ooh, they're still side by side. Looks like GTS R12's got the inside for the next corner though. He should be getting ahead of him. Oh, some contact. Oh, but I think none of them have spun or anything like that.
No,
GTS R12 is in front now.
Yeah, they've kept it together in a little bit of a rub, and that's fair, that's racing. But Red Bull Energy under massive pressure here from Emo Guy. Look at Emo Guy, he's flying tonight.
What has Emo Guy been eating? Oh, no.
He's down the inside.
He's got up the inside over at Leocop. That's the difficult one where there's a blind braking point. Emo Guy is absolutely.
Oh, he's made contact with Red Bull Energy and he's gone onto the grass. He's spinning around. Oh no! We're going to try and avoid the rest of the pack if he can, but that's allowed Motor Morgan and many others to get past. I'm trying to stick with him as best I can, but Red Bull Energy drops down to the back of the pack, and Emo Guy will take the race lead, but Javier is now over the back of him.
Barely keep up with it, Dan.
I know, we're only at this is an hour-long race as well, as the number 740 has got a drive stop and go penalty. That's Dazzer's trap, so that's probably track limits, I would assume.
Yeah, I would. Oh wow, I'd be surprised if he got track limits so early on in the race. To be honest, like he must have been really cutting some corners to get track limits penalties that close to start. I don't know if he's maybe pitted for damage or something like that, and
I think he's
sped in the pit lane.
Oh, I've just gone on chat with him, and he's really struggling in that car, and is not able to keep it on circuit. He's about to get lapped already, but Emo Guy still leads away, and he's got a 6/10 on Javier, and it looks like he's in the flow of things. Motor Morgan, his first race here in the GT4s and racing for Pink Panther Races. Sadly, we lost the only G due to his internet and focusing more on the stream, but G will make sure he comes back next race better and stronger for it. But Motor Morgan doing it strong here for the Pink Panthers.
Yeah, strong driver last week. Mark Rave, who was leading throughout the whole of the race pretty much up until his drive-through penalty. He's in the pits along with his teammate Thomas Mengo, and he's just leaving the pits now, so he's going to be really far back. He's going to be nearly a lap down, so he must have had a lot of trouble that first lap. I don't know what happened. I did see him sort of falling down the grid, and people were overtaking him, but maybe he had an incident. Yeah, he's probably starting the wrong tyres, isn't he? Yeah. So it's a damp track at the moment, which is a tricky conditions actually, Dan, because on a damp track usually it's kind of borderline dry wet tyres. The wet tyres tend to overheat on a damp track, but then the dry tyres tend to be like really ice cold. So these are really tricky conditions for the drivers. But looking at the weather, it should just continue to keep on raining, so it will probably become wet tyre territory later on, I would imagine.
Yeah, so like I said earlier on, we have an hour worth long race here at Kyalami. We're currently on board with Road Racing at the minute, who's trying to get all over the back of Ratchidas, and I hear Benjy make a big noise.
Yeah.
So what's that on, mate?
Guy nearly had a coming together with Dazzer then. Dazzer was getting lapped, and I think he had an instant come in into the final corner, and the leaders had to take some pretty evasive action to avoid him. Poor Dazzer, he's having an absolute mare at the moment. His car is absolutely trash. It's got so much damage, and he's got a stop and go penalty.
Oh no, Dazzer really struggling here at ACC, and especially here at Kyalami in these wet conditions as he goes really wide. But Javier's starting to get into a flow of things, but he's got a little bit of pressure from Moto Morgan. Moto Morgan really drifting the back end of that McLaren, as he's also got GTRS now on the back of him. So these leading four have managed to pull a gap of 3.5 seconds over Freeman. Freeman kind of on his own. Then it's HR USA. 7th place is Ratchidas. 8th place he's got Marty Rose Racing, and he looks like to go around the outside of Ratchidas. Can he get the job done? He will then have the inside for the next corner, and he's already got it done before the next corner. So Rose Racing is really on the move and has finally got past Ratchidas, and just behind them is Cod in the red Audi. He's currently in 9th place. Amazing Pie Boy in 10th. Kenny is in 11th, and Kenny pressurizing Amazing Pie Boy. Red Bull Energy is starting to recover as he's in 12th. J-Palm in 13th. J-Palm, the winner of the GT4 Multi-Class Championship, is currently in 13th place. Benjy, he's struggling tonight.
Yeah, well, GTSR12 has just spun. He did a move on Motoring Morgan, and he got spun round a little bit. I think he lost it on the exit, and he spun a little bit, and there was a bit of contact between him and Motoring Morgan, and he's dropped down a little bit. I think Freeman has got ahead of GTSR12 now. Sorry, what were you saying before about standings?
I was just running through him, and J-Palm was just saying is just struggling. The winner of the multi-class GT4 class is just struggling on his own. He's in 13th place. No one really around him, and he's just not looking good tonight.
He had a very quiet race at Imola as well. I think he's been very brave in his choice of car. The Alpine is not a nice car to drive. It's not a quick car at all. So he's really been brave with his car choice, but he's perhaps regretting it now because he's been suffering a little bit at Imola and at Kyalami again. I'm not sure how it handles in the rain, but maybe not so great. Looks like Amazing Pie Boy's come in the pits. Maybe he needs to change tyres. Maybe he's got the wrong tyres as well.
Yeah, possibly. This is what we've been Benjy explaining. They look like they've all started on the dry tyres to start things off, and now things are getting wetter and more difficult. So hopefully these guys will be getting themselves sorted. There's also Desert who's serving his penalty right now, but Javier is keeping in touch with Emo Guy. It looks like he's a lot closer to him this time. It's only half a second, and Morgan has dropped off this pair. He's now 4.5 seconds off, so not so happened to Morgan, but
it was his incident with GTSR12.
Oh yeah.
They both lost a bit of pace because Motoring Morgan had to slow down as well, so it's kind of affected both of them. But it's a very exciting top two sort of scuffle at the moment. It looks like GTSR12 has got back onto the back of Freeman as well, and is trying to put him under pressure after his incident with Motoring Morgan also.
Yeah, and as you see there, Freeman goes a little bit wide, and we see there that 740, which is Desert Trap, has cleared his stop and go, so he's good to race and doesn't need to do another penalty. Morgan's gone very wide.
Morgan's gone wide, yeah. So Freeman's got ahead of Motoring Morgan. He's on the grass. Oh, he's kept it together though, but GTSR12 is on the inside here. Or is he just? He's left him space, but I think he's just got ahead of GTSR12.
Yeah, so he's only lost one place there, so Morgan will be kicking himself right now, but he looks like GTSR down the inside looking to try and make that move on Morgan. Morgan seems to be struggling as it gets wetter and wetter, so Morgan out in the pink McLaren is just not finding any grip at the minute. Meanwhile, Javier was in 2/10 of Emo Guy and is hunting him down. The Ginetta good at the start, but seems to be struggling a little bit as it gets wetter and wetter here, Ben.
Yeah, these guys must have got their strategy pretty sorted. I mean, it's so difficult. I can't say just how difficult it is to get the strategy right in these sort of changeable conditions. You have to second guess what the weather's going to do, and a lot of these guys are struggling, I think, because they weren't anticipating it just to get wetter and wetter. If you start on the dry tyres, you have to pump them up, the pressures really quite high to sort of negate for the fact that they're really cold. Because if you use the normal sort of like pressures in a dry weather when it's slightly damp, they get so under pressure that you just lose so much grip. Go on.
We just had a little bit of contact there with RoadRacingIsLife and the COD there just making contact, and this is allowing Red Bull Energy to have a look around on the pair of them. Red Bull looking to the outside to try and get around them, trying to use the karting line, a classic karting line where you go right round the outside, use the dirty grip of the track to gain on the car in front, and looks like Red Bull Energy has got that move done on RoadRacingIsLife, and COD is now holding off back the Red Bull Energy, but a great move there from Red Bull Energy, and is now making his way back through the pack.
Yeah, Red Bull Energy, we know he's got a lot of pace from qualifying, and he's the current sort of reigning champion from the multi-class last season in the GT3 cars, so we know he's got a lot of pace, and he's going to be really, really frustrated with that instant. I think it was with Emo Guy on the second or third lap, where he was, was he leading at the time? He was definitely in the top three, wasn't he?
He was leading the race, and then the Emo Guy just sent it down the inside and just pushed him out the way, but looks like Red Bull Energy is already over the back of COD and trying to find his way past. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the other standings just in case, and I think Morgan's had a little incident again. He's lost out to GTRS and he's lost big time, and he's now stuck with HR USA, so now he's giving Morgan a bit of pressure. The McLaren does
Morgan's
not look
really
happy.
Falling down the grid, isn't he? Yeah, he's falling down the grid. I wonder if he's struggling with the tyres. I assume he's maybe got the pressure slightly wrong, or he's on the wrong tyre, because he was quite strong at the start of the race and he was really sort of putting the pressure on the guys in front of him, but he just seems to be going further and further back. He does have some damage on the back of that car, so that may be affecting him also. He may have lost quite a lot of downforce. Freeman and GTSR12 are going side by side down into turn 1 into Crowthorne. Looks like Freeman's got the inside. Oh, is it going to be contact?
A little bit of contact. I think Freeman just touches the rear GTSR. He has the line for the next corner though, but as Freeman's going to battle him around the outside though, and looks like he's going to try and keep that position if he can. The Audi trying to hold on, but the Mercedes is all over the back of him, and I know for any championship, any driver, seeing a black Mercedes behind you is the worst thing that you want to be seeing, and GTSR is trying his best to get past the Audi of Freeman, but at that time it did not work, as Morgan is still trying to keep ahead of HR USA, and I think he's actually gapped him a little bit, so Morgan is starting to find a little bit of pace again.
Yeah, it looks like he maybe has picked it up again. He had a few sort of scruffy laps, and I think the fight in between GTSR12 and Freeman as well has sort of brought him a little bit closer also. But Freeman was doing a fantastic job of defending into that first... Oh no, I say that and he's got overtaken. Commentator's curse. So down, up into the Lear Cup, Freeman's been overtaken. I'm very sorry, Freeman, but it was very good in the start of the lap, but he's obviously had to sort of yield to GTSR12 later on in the lap.
Yeah, definitely. And again, guys, we're currently got 11 people watching the stream right now and 87 likes, so please guys hit that like button and subscribe and get involved if you want to be a part of the championship. And also, if you want to get more information, then please head over to our website, www.motiveracing.com, and you too could be a part of the action that is going on right now. But Emo Guy is leading the GT4 race here at Kyalami ahead of Javier, but we know, Ben, that Javier is very good at playing the patient game. He will sit there and wait and wait and wait, as he did at Imola. So he's just probably biding his time and waiting for the right opportunity to attack.
Yeah, you know you can't scare Javier off the racetrack. He is, he very rarely, well, I've never seen him make a mistake. He's just Mr. Consistent every single lap. He just puts in consistent laps, so Ian has not got it easy. Although he has got a lot of support, I can see in the chat. We've got Becca, we've got Chris, we've got JR. They're all rooting for Ian, and they really want him to do well and carry on this great performance so far.
Yeah, kind of the underdog status he has right now. He's just getting better and better each race, and this is probably his best opportunity to prove to himself that he is worthy of a title here at ACC in the GT4s. And at the minute, he is defending off one of the top guys in the championship of Javier. We're going to just drop back to Roads Racing and HR USA, who are currently having a little bit of a battle going on right now. This is the closest fight on track right now, and it looks like I think Roads Racing has actually managed to get past the green with Porsche, so has made a place and is going to try and hunt down Morgan if he can. But still a very long race. We've only done 15 minutes of the session, and we still got 45 minutes left to go. So these guys are in for the long haul. And Ben, I know you've done a couple of long races yourself. How do you get yourself mentally prepared for a long race like this?
Oh, it's difficult. I found it very difficult because I was only used to doing like 15-20 minute sort of GT Sport races before I started ACC. So the idea of doing an hour-long race was really not something that I'd ever done before. But I think it's just practice, just knowing the track perfectly well, knowing how to pace yourself. I always have some water next to me to keep myself hydrated. I find that helps me concentrate as well. And then just trying to avoid looking at things like the standings, because it's quite easy when you're sort of racing by yourself and you're not got anyone challenging you right next to you. It's quite easy to be distracted by looking at sort of like what the weather are doing, how long you got left, how many laps you've done, where everyone else in the race is, and before you know it, you missed your breaking point and you're in the wall then. So it is a very difficult
consistency.
Yeah, but these two guys out front are being very consistent. Javier Ranz is right behind Emo Guy right now, though he's right up his bumper.
Well, we've just been watching the fight between Ratchidas Kenny, J-Palm and Gruula Official, who look like they're having a good fight here. Very close racing. It looks like Ratchidas is trying to hang on for dear life to any position. Kenny is all over the back of him, with J-Palm getting involved as well. See, Ratchidas goes very, very wide, and looks like Kenny will have the outside for the next section. As Benjy was saying, looks like Emo Guy is close to Javier, and once again Javier's just sat there and waiting. He's just waiting for the right time to pounce. As I go to Ratchidas and J-Ball. Whoa! All sorts of chaos going on here, and I see
oh my goodness,
Grulag managed to get past a lot of them. I'm not sure what's gone on there. We go on to a different cam for a second, and then come back, and there's all sorts of chaos. Kenny's still in the same place, but Grulag moves up into 10th. Ratchidas loses out 2 places, and J-Palm loses 1 place. So all sorts going on here, and Nilsson will be getting involved soon.
Gruler was the big beneficiary in that battle, wasn't he? He gained loads of places. Looks like someone's pulling over to maybe let a car past.
That's Ratchidas. Ratchidas is letting him pass.
J-Palm through, I think. So maybe Ratchidas was to blame for that incident down at 2 and 1 there.
Yeah, possibly, but now Nilsson's looking down the inside of Ratchidas right now and trying to find a way past if he can. They come into a long hairpin here, and it looks like he can't find the opportunity there, but we go back to the front, and Emo Guy is defending for his license. Javier's looking down the inside. He backs out of it. He wants to just sit and look at the beautiful back end of that Ginetta. He is not in any rush to try and get past that car.
Yeah, Ian must be cool as a cucumber, because I haven't seen him put a foot wrong yet in this race, really. He's doing a fantastic job. I'm quite actually scared, to be honest, come Sunday for the Tier 1 race now, because it's going to be another guy up there towards the front and battling out, and it's going to be Emo Guy, because he is absolutely, like the last few weeks, he's pulled out a lot of pace. I'm very impressed, and and Becca says that he has been practicing a lot, apparently, according to the chat. So so there you go, he's been putting in the practice, and if you put in the practice it reaps rewards, obviously, because now he's leading the race.
Yeah, just as we were talking about Emo Guy, we were just watching there. COD goes down the inside of HR USA and makes up another place. So looks like COD is on the move once again in that Audi, but Emo Guy still leading the way. Javier in 2nd place, GTSR in 3rd with a bit of pressure from Freeman and Morgan, who's in 5th place. Marty Roads Racing is currently in 6th place with Red Bull Energy in 7th. COD in 8th place, HR USA in 9th. Grula back into 10th place. Quite a bit of a gap between these guys, and 11th is Kenny. Kenny goes very wide, and J-Palm is in 12th. AA Ratchidas in 13th. Nilsson is in 14th. Mark Rave, after an early pit stop, is in 15th due to probably wet tyres now, and 16th is Amazing Pie Boy, another pitter. Thomas in 17th, Slade in 18th, and Dazzer Trap is in the pits and retired from the race. But that is your running order. Sadly, we lost Yoni G due to obviously internet issues and the stream, but like I said, he will be back stronger than ever. We know what the Yoni G is like, and he will put in a massive amount of pressure. But this gives an opportunity for other people to gain more points in the championship, and the Emo Guy is trying his absolute best to take his first, as he goes a little bit deep into turn 1, but he's trying his absolute best to try and take his first win here in the GT4, as Javier is the only man to take a race win in this series so far.
Yeah, I've been watching these two at front battling it out, and it's quite interesting because they take some very different lines into some of the corners. I'm not sure if Javier Ans is just doing that on purpose, just to make Ian know that he's sort of like he's there, and so you can so you can just sort of see him in his wing mirror. So just to keep the pressure on him, perhaps. But yeah, they're both neck and neck really. They've both got very good pace.
Yeah, just looking in the comments here, it's Becca. I think Becca's probably his partner or some sort of relative of Emo Guys, and says that he's not feeling his best and he's not feeling well. He's got a little bit of a throat infection, but that's not going to let him get him down. So already Emo Guys showing, running the 66, that a little bit of illness is not going to hold him back, and he is determined to take a race win here at Kyalami. But looks like they're coming up to a little bit of lap traffic now. I believe that's Thomas in front of him.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
this is how he performs with a throat infection. He might be wanting to try and get more throat infection going forward in the future. You never know, because it's just amazing just seeing him at the front. He takes a very different line through the crocodiles here. He goes very wide compared to Javier Ans. This corner that they're on now, called Cheetah, that is a really difficult corner. There's a very big sausage curb on the inside of that. If you hit that, it's literally game over, Dan. You're straight in the gravel trap or facing the wrong way. So it's an important corner as well, because the faster you take it, the more speed you can carry into the last corner, and you can gain quite a lot of time if you're brave. But if you're too brave, that's it. Your car's airborne and flying, and you're into orbit.
Not with the Camaro.
G goes to say not in the Camaro. He obviously has a very nice soft suspension on that thing, and it absorbs the bumps very well. Becca in the comments says he's his daughter's mum, ex-partner, but still a massive supporter. So yeah, it's great to have that support, and I feel like when you do have that team support, the other like family support, any support whatsoever, it does kind of make you feel good going into races and give you that extra bit of power that you didn't even realize you had. So Emo Guy with the extra support from his teammates, from his daughter's mum, and from anyone else really. I think he's really the underdog tonight, and everyone's back behind Emo Guy, and he's trying to take it to Javier. At the minute he's looking good, but I do not want to curse him right now.
No. I can't sort of speak enough about how difficult these conditions are, Dan. It's been raining more and more throughout the session, but the track is still just damp. Oh, it's actually, as I say, it's just damp. It's switched to wet, obviously. But these sort of like damp, wet conditions where it's just sort of in between are so difficult, because, like I said, you kind of like borderline wet, dry tyres. Having the wet tyres, they overheat very easily, and you can lose grip very easily as well. And also, when they overheat, the pressures go like sky high. But if you have the dry tyres, they're stone cold and they lose pressure very easily as well. So these guys are doing at the front are doing extremely well to sort of manage the pressures and the temperatures. And it'd be interesting. They've got a big decision ahead of them when they come into the pits about what to do next. I would imagine they'll both go for wet tyres.
Yeah, I see Gruelad's in the pits, and it looks like he's had a hefty whack with the wall. He's got a lot of damage to the front of that Mercedes, so obviously he's had a little bit of a trip into the wall somewhere.
And that's a big shame for him as well, because the pit window is about to start in just over a minute's time. So as well as pitting now, he's going to have to make another mandatory pit stop in a very short while. So it's a shame he couldn't hold on maybe for one more lap, but maybe he had such significant damage he had to come in here and now, basically.
Yeah, we're currently watching Road Racing at the minute, and he's looking like he's giving Moto Morgan a little bit of pressure now. So Morgan, once again, Morgan seems to be going into these weird stages. He seems to be, he looks like he's got pace and good form, and then next thing you know, he just drops off a little bit, and then Road Racing is all over the back of him right now. I don't know if it's just a little bit of inconsistency due to racing fully properly into an ACC league. He's usually a regular on the Renault Clios, and I have to comment, I'm a regular on the Project Cars Championships and in the Tier 1s with the Clios as well, and Morgan is definitely no slouch in the Clios, so Morgan is definitely keep an eye out for future races. He has got the pace, he has got the consistency. He does have a little bit of bad luck with traffic and other drivers as well, but when he puts it together, he is a man who can win a race, and he's won a title as well in the Clio, so Morgan is easily capable of taking it to these guys. But at this minute, in these wet conditions in the McLaren, he just seems to be struggling a little bit, and as you see there, the pit window is now open and the Road Racing is looking to the outside of Morgan, but looks like he can't find a way past right now and will have to hang in there for a little bit longer. But pit window is open, and Benjy, what would you do at this point? The pit window is open for about 10 minutes, so what would you do at this
Personally,
situation?
if it was me, if I was quite happy with my pressures and my tyres at this point in time, I would probably try and stay out and pit as late as possible in the pit window, just in case the weather was to change again. I mean, it does look like it's only going to get wetter at the moment, as we can see in the sort of the weather prediction. But the longer you stay out, the more you can be sure the weather's not going to change again. But some of these guys that have been sort of running dry tyres or the wet tyres are just not at the right temperature, or they're feeling really worn. You might see them dive into the pits very quickly, and I wouldn't be surprised if Morgan was one of those, because I feel like he maybe just got his pressures wrong, because he was very fast at the start of the race, and as the rain came down more and more, he seems to have really struggled. So, but it looks like he's staying out for another lap, so maybe he's going to just see how the weather sort of carries on, and if it gets wetter or drier.
Yeah, just as I switch to Nilsson, he looks like he's passed J-Palm, and J-Palm is losing more places left, right and centre. J-Palm struggling with a little bit of lap traffic behind him, as a few drivers now pit, and Red Bull Energy is one of the first to pit. Gulag still in the pits. Obviously, I think he's done for the session, but Ratshidas has been in and out and done his pit stop, and Thomas is in the pits as well. So a few guys taking their pit stop. HR USA is another one who's in the pits as well, but Javier's just dropped off the pace of Emo Guy a little bit. He's now 1.1 off the back of Emo Guy, and Ian's now just getting into a flow of things. He looks like he's just getting the best over Javier right now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what these guys do with pit stop strategies, whether Emo Guy's going to come in this lap, and maybe Javier Ans might try and stay out and see if he can sort of leapfrog him and
do the overcut.
Some good clean laps. Yeah, do the overcut. Or it'd be interesting. There's a lot of different ways they could sort of approach this, but at the moment, Emo Guy's got a little bit of a gap. He maybe is putting his foot down prior to the pit stops, thinking I need to try and get as big a gap as possible just to make sure that I come out ahead of him.
Yeah, just as I switch over, we got a big bunch of cars fighting it out right now. Freeman's in the middle of all this, and COD as well is all close racing here. Road Racing just in front. I don't know what's happened to Freeman here. Freeman's lost out big time. He's dropped back behind Morgan and is in this fight now. So these guys are duking it out just for these couple of places. J-Pub and Mark Rave and Amazing Pie Boy all coming to the pits as well.
Yeah, I was just watching Javier Ans. He's just leapt into the pit, so he's going to put some fresh tyres on, and hopefully, what he's probably hoping is he can put in a couple of quick laps, perhaps, or he'll have his tyres straight up to temperature. If he does choose to change the tyres, I would imagine he probably will. But yeah, he should. He'll be trying to put in some fast laps, and maybe when Emo Guy pits, we hope to have leapfrogged him. But as Javier Ans came into the pits, he nearly spun it around in the pits. Oh. This pit entry is extremely tight. There's a very, very tight left-hander, and when I was first learning this track, I was pretty much hitting the wall on the pit entry every single time. So hopefully these guys don't make the same mistake as me. But yeah, that would have been disastrous for Javier Ans if he nearly lost it in the pits then.
Yeah, that would have been awful for him, but still Emo Guy leading out, and it looks like Javier will try and do the undercut, but we will see how that plans out. We're still watching Road Racing at the minute, who's trying to bring that gap down to Moto Morgan. Moto Morgan now in third place, but obviously due to the pit stops, things might pan out a little bit differently. Javier has exited the pit, and he's in sixth place, and he's in a nice gap, Benji. He's in a nice quiet gap, no cars around him, so we can focus on getting some good lap times in. And the other thing that the other drivers need to pay attention to, especially Emo Guy and Javier, and it's worked perfectly for Javier, is track evolution, and also the gaps, like coming into a gap where you're not stuck behind cars, you're not stuck behind lap traffic, and pumping those lap times. This is what Javier needs to bring that gap down to Emo Guy, or maybe leapfrog him. Emo Guy still out in front, and he pits.
Yeah, so he's decided. I think it's probably the sensible decision, because he would have seen that Javier pitted the last lap, and if Javier was going to start putting some fast laps, I mean, he had a decent gap to him when Javier came into the pits. It's probably the sensible thing to do. Would you say that, Dan, as well, or?
If it was me, I would have reacted straight away. There's no point trying to. Javier looked like he has got more pace. He was just being held up by Emo Guy. We're currently watching Moto Morgan, Roads Racing, and COD. is fighting it out here halfway through the race now, guys, and it looks like Road Racing's made a slight mistake, and COD is looking to try and make a move. He bounces over the curb, and that's going to allow COD through, but I think who's out in the background? That's Ratchet. That's in the background, is absolutely bouncing over the curves, and he's trying to unlap himself, but COD hangs in. Rose Racing is lost out, and Morgan is in the pits now. GTRS is in the pits as well. So where's Emo Guy? He's still in the pits. Where's Javier?
So Javier is is he? He's just
coming to the final
corner, and then he'll be on the straight.
Emo Guy's moved.
Yeah, I think he's dropped. He's moving now. I was watching Emo Guy as he entered the pits, and he didn't have a very good pit. He didn't stop at the pit board very well, and the mechanics struggled to get him up. And Javier's got ahead of him, so that must have really cost him some time there, I think.
Yeah, and just that one lap as well has just allowed Javier to jump Emo Guy. The experience of this guy has managed to outfox the shall we say underdog or rookie, the underdog of tonight, and Javier proving to us why he's the championship leader and why he won at Imola. Patience is the key, and he has already done that and passed Emo Guy. A couple of guys still on track who haven't pitted.
That's a real shame for Emo Guy, because when I watched him pitting, he looked like he did the pit entry really well, but I think he just overshot his pit box slightly, and he had to put the car into reverse, and he reversed a little bit too far, and then he had to put the car forwards again to go forwards, and he must have lost probably like 5-6 seconds at least there, and that's really just let have your hands past, I think. ACC, you've got to be extremely accurate when you come into the pits with where you stop, and if you're even just the slightest bit outside, it can take a long time to either chat the car up, or you've got to maneuver it into the right position again.
Yeah, definitely, as we still got 3 minutes left of the pit window, so COD and Road Racing has only got a couple of what we say, maybe one lap left. Really, this has got to be it, and the next lap is their last opportunity to pit, so they're the only two left to pit, and they're trying to extend it for as long as they possibly can. As I say, that COD comes in, and is Road Racing, yeah, they're both coming in, so they're getting their pit stops done and out of the way. So net lead at the minute is Javier and Emo Guy in second. Emo Guy 3.8 now behind him. Javier, whatever lap he did an absolute flyer of a lap.
Yeah, he's obviously put a very good lap in, coupled with Emo Guy's mistake with stopping at the pit box. That has given Javier the jump. It'd be interesting to see if Emo Guy can get on the back of Javier now, because he obviously had some really good pace, Emo Guy. But watching Javier like throughout the season so far, I mean, I know we've actually watched one race, but I watched him the last season as well. Like I said, he rarely puts a foot wrong, so I'd be very surprised to see him put a foot wrong again. But these are very tricky conditions in the wet here.
Yeah, definitely is. I'm on board with Amazing Pie Boy, and Amazing Pie Boy has managed to get past Nilsson, and Nilsson has lost out to Amazing Pie Boy. I haven't heard much from him tonight in the other Camaro, and the G was just saying how good the Camaro was around here, suited it a little bit better, not many long straights, more of a corner circuit, but Amazing Pie Boy seems to be struggling a little bit in his car, but I'm sure he'll be getting it dialed at some point and get it tuned up to the best to his ability.
Yeah, coming back to Mark Rave as well, he's had a bit of a mare, hasn't he, this race? I think he had to come in for an early pit stop, probably because he had the tyre pressures all wrong, or the wrong tyres perhaps. He maybe had the dry tyres on, and as it was getting wet he was really struggling, so he had to make that additional pit stop. But he was leading that whole race at Imola up until his penalty, and he just seems to have been really struggling this race with the conditions, so maybe he's a bit more of a fair weather driver, perhaps. Perhaps he enjoys the drier weather.
Yeah, possibly, or maybe like you said, he just hasn't got the setup and the race right. He just started on the dries possibly, and the car was just handling absolutely terribly. So it's just not been his race tonight. It's not the performance we saw at Imola. But I'm sure Mark will clear his head, think it through, and then come back for the next round. But saying that, Thomas in the other BMW hasn't looked strong either. These BMWs are usually quite up there, and tonight in these wet conditions they just seem to be a bit of a handful. They're not really up there fighting with the top guys.
No, perhaps the BMW does struggle in the wet. I'm not so sure, to be honest. But racing in these sort of conditions is just so totally different to racing in the dry. It's like comparing apples and oranges. It's a completely different technique, and the way you set up the car is totally different. It's very complicated with these sort of GT3 and GT4 cars, with the traction control and the ABS and all the different sort of tyre pressures as well, and getting them right. It is a really tricky balance. It looks like everyone's made their mandatory pit stop though, which is good, so the stewards won't be giving out any penalties for that.
Yep, as we just hear on the radio, the pit window is closed, so that means we are in the last stint of this race, and we have got 25 minutes left of this session, and Javier has pulled off a brilliant strategy to get past the Emo guy, and Emo guy is dropped off the pace, and Javier has made a neck end of a 5-second gap on Ian. So again, that's where his expertise in these cars, in this game has really shown. And Emo guy, little mistake in the pit lane, but could we agree with that? He's been Mr. Consistent other than that, but the little mistake in the pit lane, and Javier's already pounced on that situation.
Yeah, he has. The other thing, thinking back to the start of the race, the incident between Emo Guy and Red Bull Energy, I'm not sure if there's going to be a steward inquiry about that. It was difficult to see exactly what happened, but it was on a straight, and it looked like Red Bull Energy hit the grass and spun, and he lost a lot of time there, but he had great pace at the start. He is making his way back up the field, though, gradually, but he pretty much lost. He was in the last position at the first lap, pretty much, after that sort of coming together with Emo Guy. So we'll see if there was any sort of blame to lay on either one of them, or if it's determined to be a racing incident.
Yeah, we should see. And another thing we need to sit in and think about is we obviously lost a driver at the start of this race. We lost the only G and Benjy. I just can't help but sit here to think, where would G be in this situation? Would you think he'd be thriving in these wet conditions? I certainly do think he would be. This would be his kind of territory.
Yeah, his first race in the ACC GT3 sort of super season in the Tier 1, he was at Brands Hatch, and it was his first time in the Tier 1, and he absolutely pretty much blew away the competition in the wet. It was a really difficult wet race at Brands Hatch, and he didn't put a foot wrong really throughout the whole thing, and he won his first race in that. He's obviously got great pace in the wet, the only G, so I would have imagined that he would have been doing bits tonight. So he's obviously very disappointed to not have raced, really.
Yeah, definitely. But we still have got 18 drivers on track, and we got 11 people currently watching the stream. Please, guys, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want to be a part of the action, then please head over to our website, www.motiveracing.com. I'm tripping over my own words, just trying to say the website. But also head over, look into our Discord, like all our posts on Facebook and Instagram. Get involved, be a part of the action. If you want to be a commentator or steward as well, then please follow the links below in the website and in the Discord if you want to be myself and Benjy, and in the commentary box commentating on what's going on, or decipher on penalties and any stewards inquiries, then please get involved. Also, we want to say a massive thank you to our Patreons who all get involved and support us. So I'm pretty sure G will put up a fancy little screen showing an image of all our Patreons, but a massive thank you to them and all the support they give, and also to our sponsors as well, Silent X Energy, who support the Clio Cup as well. And yeah, we've got all sorts of fun action going on this week. We just did the Porsche Cup on Monday night. We also ran off the Clio Championship on Tuesday, and the Clios were exciting to watch last night. I was a part of the action, so make sure you have a look at that race and have a look at what's going on there. We are currently racing here at Kyalami for the GT4s. Break tomorrow night and a time to relax, but if you do want to see some more racing action, then have a look at our good friends at Simplay Motorsport. A couple of the guys are racing in their GT3 Championship in the pro class. Myself, Andy, Emo Guy and Fury are all racing in that, so if you still want a bit of racing action, then head over to Simplay. Friday night is our Formula 1 Championship, and also another chilled evening after that, followed by our Super Saturday, where we have the Project Cars 2 GT3 Championship in the American circuits, followed by the Formula Renault Championship, and then we round things off with the Super Season in the GT3 class in ACC, and then we finish things off with the Touring Cars, which are doing the MBTCC Championship, an all British Championship, so make sure you head over and have a look at that. But Benjy, things have just seemed to have leveled out here at Kyalami, and things have just gone a little bit quiet. There's no real racing going on at the minute.
Yeah, so at the front with Javier and Emo, the gap's been pretty consistent between about 4 and 5 seconds, really. So they seem to be pretty much matching each other's pace. So neither have really gained on each other, and the field has spread out a little bit. There's a few sort of like battles where people are within about 1 or 2 seconds of each other, but no one right nose to nose. I was just looking through the chat, Dan, and Kurt Hodgson's been in, and he's pointing out that Motoring Morgan, who is the current CEO of Pink Panther, and was pretty much responsible for demoting Ian Emo Guy, has pretty much got pie in his face at the moment because Emo Guy is ahead of him. So
do you think he's head over to Amazing Pie Boy and asked if he got extra any pie so that he can just throw in Morgan's face?
Well, that'd be quite entertaining to do, throwing a pie at Morgan's face, yeah, but he's definitely going to be perhaps ruining, demoting Ian Emo Guy from Pink Panther, because he's obviously got a lot of pace now, and looks like Run GJC have got a big sort of asset in Emo Guy now, because he is putting on an impressive display today.
Yeah, definitely in these GT4s, and a couple of guys in the comments are asking, where is Andy tonight? Andy's having a little bit of break of commentary here on Motor Racing. He has got a little bit of a deal with SimPlay, so he's currently over with them commentating. So myself and Benjy are here entertaining you tonight, and I think it's a bit nice to switch it up with commentators, hear a couple of different voices, and get different perspectives of how people see the racing. I know myself and Benjy are not as excited as Andy, as he's known for his one lap non-breath commentary, as I like to think of it, where he doesn't seem to breathe when he does the first lap. So I always worry about
how
him.
He does that.
It's going to be a massive struggle if we ever race at the Nordschleife, isn't it? Imagine him trying to do a whole lap trying to do that. That'd be interesting to watch. You'd just be hearing him just desperate for breath at the end.
He'd probably be a bit blue in the face by the end of that. I think he might pass out if he was to hold it for that amount of time. But yeah, it would be a struggle holding it for the whole Nürburgring lap.
Yeah, definitely, and like I said, on the fact that we're going to be racing at the Nürburgring on the Super Season, we will be dedicating that ACC race to the loss of Sabine Schmidt, an absolute legend in motorsport, female racer, the only woman ever to win the 24 hours of the Nordschleife, and yeah, it's such a shame we've lost another legend in the sport. We lost Maury Walker, the absolute legend commentary as well from him. So, like I said, may they race in peace in heaven right now. And we'll be dedicating our ACC GT3 race at the Nürburgring for Sabine Schmidt. And I know for sure, Benjy, you and the rest of the guys out in the ACC will be racing your hearts out in memory of her.
Yeah, we will. We'll try and put on a good display in memory of Sabine Schmitz, who was an absolutely legendary sort of race driver, bit of a pioneer for women race drivers, and hopefully an inspiration for more female race drivers in future. It'd be great to see more and more female race drivers in real life and also in sim racing, because it's definitely underrepresented by females at the moment.
Yeah, she definitely threw it to the boys and said, look boys, I can do this as well. It's not just a guy sport. So she's been an absolute asset to our motorsport lives, and she's inspired some of the new women coming through, as I know for a fact that Jade Edwards, who is currently signed to do the British Touring Car Championship the full season, and she found that Sabine Schmidt was a massive inspiration to her. So like I said, rest in peace, Sabine, and enjoy your time racing with the other legends of motorsports. But we will be racing hard at the Nürburgring on ACC in your memory, as J Palm has managed to get past Kenny, as these guys are having a little bit of a fight, and Mark Rave has come onto the scene. It's an amazing pipe boy as well. We're saying here that there's no racing going on, and I come across this, and J Palm and all are having a good fight.
Yeah, they're all very close next to each other. It looks like Amazing Pie Boy's making a move on Mark Rave, but he just had to back out of that. But yeah, we've got 4 guys here very, very close.
Yeah, Kenny lost out to J Palm, but the things as the sectors sort themselves out. So J Palm is ahead of him, and I thought there was another car in the background going to get involved, but Yeah, so as we're just seeing the comments here, Floorball Goalie Cam, he says, and some celebratory donuts honouring Shabin after the race. I don't know if some of the drivers are listening, then please, if you want to, guys, at the end of the race, let's do some celebratory donuts for Shabin Schmidt in her memory. Just don't hit each other. That would be the best thing to do. But Kenny is losing places left, right, and centre at the minute, and he's just lost out to Mark Rave, and he looks like he's about to lose out to Amazing Pieboy. Pieboy's going to go around the outside, but he's on the curb and is losing grip out there.
You do not want to try and overtake round the outside of that corner. It's extremely quick right-hander there, and yeah, it's not a good place to overtake. So perhaps Amazing Pieboy will try and reset himself and try and get close to Kenny again and put a move on him later on in the lap, because it looks like Kenny is struggling a little bit with the conditions right now.
Yeah, a little bit. Rave, who's currently in the comments right now, let's catch up later on the week. And he also asks, is this season ending? Sadly not, mate. And we've only just started this new season here on the GT4s. The GT... Oh, Kenny drops it all on his own and is in the middle of the circuit. Sorry, so just answering that... just I was answering that question, and Rompu is the other person commentating in the comments right now. But no, we've just started this new season. We're only at round 2 of an 8-round championship, so sadly this is the first start of the championship, as Ellis here, Dr. Benjy knows where not to overtake. Benjy, what do you mean about that? What do they mean by that? Let's
So my wife seems to have found herself into the chat. I knew this would probably happen at some point, and she'll just probably like rip me to death now and say that I'm rubbish at racing and this and that. And she's also got her friend Lottie Spencer to come in the chat as well. Both of you can do us a favour and put a like on the stream if you could. And,
yeah, so if you hear the hassle, Benjy, then please do hit that like button. And G goes to puts Benji's a Ferrari driver. That's impossible.
Well, we don't know how to overtake, that's for sure. We know how to create collisions as Ferrari drivers. That's a prerequisite of being a Ferrari driver.
There's a good thing I haven't picked the Ferrari for anything on ACC. I keep getting told by Kurt to pick the McLaren, so
oh well, Kurt's just so biased though, isn't he? Like, I mean, nothing can come close to McLaren according to Kurt. I mean, would you take advice from someone who thinks a pink livery is the sort of the best colour for a livery as well?
I don't know. He's managed to convince to sign Leone G and Motor and Morgan to come onto the Pink Panthers. So if he's managed to convince them, I don't know what else he can manage to do. But we're currently watching Mark Rave, who is all over the back of J-Palm. A little bit more action going on. I just looked in the times at the minute, and Javier has pulled a 7 seconds on Emo Guy. Emo Guy's just dropped off the pace a little bit.
We've got someone side by side on the main straight. We've got Red Bull Energy and Codalunga at the moment. Red Bull Energy, after that incident on the first lap with Ian Emo Guy, he seems to have found it down the inside now of Codalunga, and he's made the move. Can he make it stick? He's gone a little wide. Codalunga might cut back to him, but he's got the inside for the next corner. But Codalunga's got the inside for the corner afterwards. Oh, but he's gone over the sausage curb and he's gone spinning. Oh, I think he's avoided contact with the wall, but Red Bull Energy has made the move there. It's put some great racing between those guys. Just a shame that Codalunga tried to hold it out around that corner, hit the sausage curb, and that's quite easy to do there. And I've done that before and hit the sausage curb and gone flying also.
Yeah, we just quickly run back to Amazing Pieboy and Mark Rave and J-Palm. These three all going at it for the 10th, 11th and 12th place. This is how close the GT4 races are. I know the GT3s can get a little bit spaced out and a little bit boring sometimes, but these GT4s with less downforce, a bit less power, they do bring out a lot of good racing. The wet conditions obviously proving to help certain drivers than others, but J-Palm holding back Mark Rave and Amazing Pieboy. Mark Rave goes a little bit wide, but Amazing Pieboy does follow him. But Amazing Pieboy all over the back of that BMW, and I'm going to do a quick run of the positions right now. So we currently got Javier leading out in front. Since the pit stops, he's been leading since then, and Emo Guy did have the early lead, but just seems to have dropped off the pace. But a good start for his season nonetheless. GTRS in 3rd place. Motor and Morgan, his first race here at the GT4's ACC, in a solid 4th place. Red Bull Energy in 5th. COD in 6th place. Marty Rose Racing in 7th. HR USA in 8th, Freeman in 9th, J-Palm still holding back Mark Rave, who's in 11th, and Amazing Pieboy, so that's the fight for 10th, 11th and 12th. Kenny is in 13th and a bit off from there. AA Ratchedas in 14th, 15th is Nilsson, 16th is Thomas, 17th is Slade, and Grua, after a long pit stop due to damage, is bringing up the rear of the pack. We lost Desert Trap and we lost the only G due to internet issues. Desert Trap just struggling overall, but Benjy, been an interesting here race at Kyalami, and we still got 10 minutes left of action. And
yeah, it's definitely not over yet. These last 10 minutes are going to be difficult conditions for them, because at the pit stops the rain was falling harder and harder, and they would have had to factor that in when setting up the pressures for the tyres if they changed the tyres. And because as the rain got heavier, the tyres would have cooled down more. They would have needed higher pressures to compensate for that. But these last 10 minutes, the rain is coming down less and less. And as you look at the track, there's definitely a sort of a drier line sort of like emerging on the track. So we might see a few drivers try and take some sort of unusual lines into corners just to try and pick up some wet sort of damp track to cool the tyres down, because they might find that their wet tyres are overheating now.
Yeah, that could possibly be affecting them right now. I know for sure that Amazing Pie Boy and Mark Rave and J Palm are still going at it flat out, lap for lap, trying to keep ahead of one and the other. But as we've got 10 minutes left of this session, please, guys, let's get some votes in to see who you think driver of the day is. Benjy, I'm also going to ask you as well to think of your driver of the day towards the end of the race, so give it a good amount of thought. Kurt in the comments goes and says, "Wow, Dr. Benjy is so technical."
Oh, wow. If you ever need to employ my services, Kurt, to help you out in racing strategy, I'm very expensive, but I'm happy to oblige. Although I don't think you need any of my advice, because you are well ahead in Tier 1 of the Super Season at the moment, and really haven't put much of a foot wrong, perhaps from a disappointing result at Brands Hatch. So I'm sure that that Kurt's going to be wanting to put an impressive display over at the Nürburgring this coming weekend as well.
Yeah, as we see here, Amazing Pie Boy looking down the inside of Mark Rave, and they're going side by side through this section, and I think Mark Rave will have the inside for the hairpin, and he does. So Amazing Pie Boy will not get that move done, but will try and get a better drag out of the corner. But Kurt, I'm going to call Kurt Mr. Lucky, because no matter what happens, Kurt seems to always get the luck. He never seems to be in any incidents or any trouble.
No, he does seem to have his big fair share of luck. I mean, a lot of his results can be attributed to luck. I mean, it's definitely not the practice that he puts in. It must be all down to luck. It looks like Amazing Pie Boy has just made a move on Mark Rave. Oh, but he's hit that curb, but he is in the Chevy, so you don't need to really worry about that sausage curb. According to the MG, you can literally just plough through it. Ignore there's a sausage there. Just go straight over it. The suspension is that high on the Chevy.
Yeah, definitely, and JR's already got his vote in. He says, Emo Guy, driver of the day, easy. All driven fantastically, though. And another comment here from Becca. In honor of Emo, to show my support to the motive community, I've joined as a Patreon. So massive thank you, Becca, for joining and being a part of. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. It's awesome here, and to see Amazing Pie Boy is dropped back behind Mark again. Mark has got back in front of him, but massive thank you to you, Becca. And JR says, Kurt the love bug, a luck bug. I said love bug then.
He might be a love bug as well. Who knows? I mean,
that's why I like pink.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Mark still heavily defending from Amazing Pie Boy. Another fight that's interesting to watch is Red Bull Energy is caught up to the other McLaren of Moto Morgan. So the Pink Panther, Kurt, your Pink Panther driver is struggling a little bit, and looks like the other McLaren driver is going to get around the outside of him.
Yeah, they're side by side going into coming towards turn one. It looks like Motoring Morgan may have had an instant late earlier on in the lap, perhaps, because Red Bull Energy was quite far behind at one point. They're side by side. Motoring Morgan has still got the inside of this corner. He's trying to push Red Bull wide, and he has succeeded. Red Bull had a little bit of a tank slapper on there, and he had to slow down a little bit. He's lost a little bit of time, but he's going to probably try get back onto the tail of Motoring Morgan, I would imagine now.
Yeah, he'll be trying to get back onto him and really pressurise him once again. And like Becca says, she is now part of the Patreon service here at Motive Racing. And if you want to be a part of be a Patreon as well, then head over to our website where you can sign up and be a part of it. And And Kurt goes and says the sponsors are not going to be happy. Ray-Ban will not be happy with that at all. But
sponsors won't be happy with your spelling either, Kurt, because sponsors got an O instead of an E. Yeah. So looking at the, the times and everything. Sorry, I just feel like I'm ripping Kurt to death, to be honest, in this commentary. It's not my intention, Kurt, was to come on and just be like really mean to you, but it just turns out it's happened that way. But Pink Panther are going to be all in 6s and 7s, I think, when they get back to their board meeting, because they're going to be discussing how they let Emo Guy go, because this guy had obviously so much potential, and he's absolutely teaching the CEO how it's done really at Kyalami. He has been doing bits on the CEO. It'd be like basically like being an employee of a business, and
it's
or like basically like beating the employer or something, wouldn't it?
It just feels like when Pierre Gasly returned back to AlphaTauri and basically gone and took the Monza win when Max Verstappen and Alex Albon should have won it, but he's doing a Pierre Gasly right now, and maybe it's better for Emo Guy, obviously, without the stress and the technicality of being a Pink Panther driver, the stresses from being a top level driver in a top level team, close brackets, and it's really helped him out, and has got him into a flow here and really challenged Javier, who looks to be the man of the GT4s. We're still watching Red Bull Energy trying to find a way past Motor and Morgan right now, and another thing that I've noticed,
he's all over Motor and Morgan like a bad rash here, isn't he? He's really got Motor and Morgan in his sights, and yeah, he's Red Bull Energy is probably still pretty annoyed with that first lap incident. And to be fair, you got to sort of commend the guy, because obviously it'd have been pretty frustrating being put to the back of the field after having such a good qualifying and a good start to the race. But he's really stuck at it, and he's gone pretty much from last place all the way to 5th, and he's looking good for putting pressure on Motor Morgan. But Motor Morgan is just holding out at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. We've only got less than 4 minutes of the session, 3.5 minutes left to go. Motor Morgan defending for his life, defending for his contract right now. There's going to be some raised eyebrows for sure with Emo Guy in 2nd place and Motor Morgan in 4th, but Motor Morgan is hanging in there. Was the lead in McLaren and still is the lead in McLaren, but Red Bull Energy, we know how much he loves that McLaren, and he'll be wanting to try and find a way past if he can. He's got a great run out the hairpin there, and he had a look down the inside, just letting Morgan know that he's there, but it looks like he wasn't going to pull that move off there, but he looks like he's got more superior grip than Morgan, and he looks to the outside. Can he get the move done here? And Morgan will push him out wide, and he does so. Red Bull, I believe he's going to get him at some point.
He's got the inside of this corner, but I think Motor Morgan's got more speed. Yep. So Motor Morgan's still ahead, but he's putting him under all sorts of pressure. These are difficult conditions to be battling out and trying to overtake people. I mean, it's difficult enough just to stay on the track, so they're doing extremely well to be battling out and keeping it so clean as well.
Yeah, definitely. And we've also got another fight going on between Marty Ray Racing and HR USA, who are going at it at the minute as well. They're quite close, but we're going to go back to Red Bull Energy and Motor Morgan. Motin is defending for his life down the inside as far as wide as he can go, but it looks like he can't keep to hang on, and Red Bull Energy had a snap. Did you see that snap, Benjy? He had a big snap as he comes out the final, out the hairpin.
This is very exciting. I mean, Red Bull Energy will be obviously disappointed by that first lap, that sort of instant in the first few laps, but he's probably absolutely loving the racing now between these two McLaren boys. It is so close. Motor and Morgan is just hanging on for dear life, and he's doing everything he can to keep Red Bull Energy behind him. Yeah,
and he's not got long left. He's got less than 2 minutes left to go. HRS USA is still trying to get past Road Racing. That's the other fight that's on track, and Amazing Pie Boy is on the back of Ratchet. Amazing Pie Boy looks like he's lost out to Mark Rave. Mark Rave has pulled that gap away, but we're going to keep an eye on this fight. We're going to keep an eye on this fight between Motor Morgan and Red Bull Energy. Javier will start his final lap, but these McLaren boys are going at it lap for lap. Guys, come on, getting the votes in, and let's see who you think your driver of the day is. I hope you got yours in mind, Benjy, because I've got mine in mind, and Kurt's saying them. Yeah, well, 100% sure, G. You are my driver of the day, allowing these new drivers to get involved in the racing. But Morgan still defending for his life for Red Bull Energy, could find a way past. Morgan wasn't very happy with the racing in the Clio, so hopefully GT4s he can just hang in there and have a good fight with Red Bull Energy is Red Bull is trying his very best, but he can't find a gap.
No, he's trying his best. Motoring Morgan, fair play to him. He's doing a fantastic job of holding him on because Red Bull Energy looks like he's got the pace over him, but he's just making it so difficult. He's just making his car as big as possible and just putting it in all the right places, just to make it that much difficult to let him overtake. But they are side by side again. It looks like Red Bull may have got ahead. Yeah, unless Motoring Morgan goes for a massive lunge into turn one. He's still having a look there.
You'll have to. This is the last lap, so you'll have to defend for as long as he can. It goes deep. They both go deep. It's a good thing
Red
that
Bull
Claude
Energy's got ahead there. It looks like Motoring Morgan was a little bit ambitious there with his braking point. He broke a little bit too late, and Red Bull couldn't turn in. It looks like he's gone slightly wide on the next corner though, Red Bull, so Motoring Morgan may still have a chance, but
yeah, and